All right, we are here slightly late, but we're here. We're here. All right. As the people having some technical difficulties, but it is okay now. As we are back where we need to be, doing what we need to do. I'm excited. I'm excited for what's going on. I loved what we had yesterday. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Why not?
So, welcome
To the
So
SNS
this morning,
edition.
going into afternoon, we're going to be recapping yesterday's games, talk about who's already in the championship round, where that sits going into today's matchups. We're going to obviously break those down, have some predictions, and pretty much call it a day. So, right off the bat, we're going to bring the guy in here. Got CJ this week. He has returned. Love to see it. Love to see it. So, we had Rams Packers, Ravens Bills yesterday. Is it what we wanted to see, or was it some surprise?
It's something I wanted to see. Something that I've been calling, this whole playoff stretch, and that is the Bills.
Ooh. Oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
So, a lot of people was so fascinated by the Ravens and how they closed out the season.
Right.
And how they totally decimated the Titans. And I said, well, here's the thing. The Ravens has one thing that can actually break down the Titans, and that is stopping Derrick Henry.
Right.
The Titans are not a hard team to completely stop. They're not a hard team to stop. And I believe that when they came into Buffalo, it was something that was very difficult. They had fans there. The weather, the wind, everything was just crazy. And not only that, the Bills has just been an overall team. I think they have been the best team overall in the NFL.
Right.
They have the defense, they have the offense. But what's very scary about Buffalo is that they don't have a lot. But what they do have is they have a bunch of guys who can play their role perfectly. That defensive line is crazy. The linebacker core is crazy. The secondary, they're okay, but again, you got the guys that's there that can do the job well. And Trey White, I don't have to say much about him.
Right.
He's the guy. He's just one of the best corners in the game right now. And the offense, we all know that the running game is a little bit lacking there, but Devin Singletary has had an okay game, was able to keep the drives going, and then Josh Allen, the kid does it again. He makes passes with no effort, just the whole game, just certain passes. Yeah, some passes did get away from him, did overthrow a lot, but I think that comes with the weather and the wind.
Yep.
But it's just amazing to see Stephen Diggs come from Minnesota into Buffalo and build such a real tight-knit bond with Josh Allen. And you see that worked very well this season.
No surprise. I called this earlier. I said it early in the season. They started out hot. Yeah, they had a part where, they lost to Kansas City already, but they didn't even get again. The reason why I'm not high on Kansas City is they didn't blow them out. How do you not take care of a team that's not playing good football?
Tucker 41, kicking it away. It is off the upright and no good.
I hear something.
I don't know what that was about. I apologize. I literally wasn't doing anything.
I think I know what that was. I think that was the unexpectancy of Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals in one game.
It's
What
funny.
should you get into? Okay,
I'll-
continue on. Continue on.
I'll talk about that actually because Condor and I had a conversation prior to it, and I made the comment that maybe it was something that he wasn't used to that much. Okay, I look back at some of the kickers I've watched, and the best windy kicker I've ever seen was Robbie Gould in Chicago. All the time. That guy constantly has wind pushing the ball left and to the right, but yet was consistently the best kicker in the NFL. I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe where the stadium is in Baltimore, maybe it's not as windy, maybe they don't have to deal with it as much, but that wind bothered Tucker. I think, he looked at the look on his face was, wow, I judged that way wrong. I just had this look on him that it was just he was astonished.
Yeah.
He can work from it.
The first one, just like you said, the first one, he was very shocked. He was like, "Really? Did that really just happen?" And the second one came, and he was just like, "What am I doing wrong?
Right.
What am I doing wrong?"
The doubt.
And he hit the third one, and I think that put a little shed of light on him. But it does have to hurt knowing that that 6 points that you missed lost you the game.
Pretty much.
But the Bills also missed 2 or 3 field goals, so there's that.
Yep.
But they had a kicker that they just brought in, in absence of Badgley.
Yeah.
Right.
So prior to both games, I wasn't able to talk to either one of you gentlemen. I knew the Packers were going to take care of business, but prior to this game, I said to Condor, Bills were winning. There was no doubt in my mind. It was just, and if you watch the game, the Bills were in control. I feel like I watched a team that was just kind of in cruise control. They went through and they did what they had to do, but I feel like they were never really stressed. They were never really concerned about what the outcome was going to be, and you could see it just in the way that they played. I think the Bills are the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now, regardless of conference, because they're playing the right football at the right time.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
I love
That Packers game was crazy. I felt so bad for Aaron Donald. I felt so bad because he tried to play with the injury. It didn't work out, and he's just been treated like he was soft out there. And Jenkins did a very good job neutralizing him, and it really got to him a little bit. He had that 15-yard penalty with unnecessary roughness and things like that. And it just felt bad seeing Aaron Donald cry there. It was one of those things where he's the leader on that team, the whole team, not just the defense. He's that leader on the whole team, and for him to have to sit there and not being able to give it 100%, it hit him hard. And the kid's still young, and it was just sad to see that. But let's talk about on the Packers side. Let's talk about how Aaron Rodgers again did it flawlessly. Aaron Rodgers has one of the quickest releases, and you've gotten to see that last night. Against the Rams, with that front seven being so aggressive and attacking the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers was just able to get the ball out in 1 or 2 seconds tops.
Oh yeah, 100%. The way Aaron Rodgers in that offense have kind of evolved in year 2, you see it with the motion, how they move people. I mean, let's talk about how they schemed Devontae Adams open against Jalen Ramsey. I mean, that's just pure respect. I don't want my guy to be anywhere near you, so I'm going to make you run from one side of the field to the other, knowing your defense won't shift right, and we'll have an easy touchdown. I mean, just the little things like that. Again, Rodgers, he was just getting it out. He knew where he wanted to go with the ball. It was there all night. That offense, it would be interesting to see against, maybe a Bills defense. there's certain matchups we're potentially seeing going forward, and we have to look at offense versus offense or offense versus defense. I think we're going to have an interesting Super Bowl, but Rodgers continued to do what he did great. He's been great in play action. I don't think he's thrown a pick in play action this year. I know he had the most touchdowns, obviously, for the 40. He had 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and that was the least amount of interceptions thrown all time for a 40-plus touchdown season. So, in the game, you saw it shine. You saw him do what he needed to do. Obviously, again, Aaron Donald, wasn't 100%. You saw it. There was times when they were allowing him to go one-on-one, and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't get his normal burst to move people, and you can see that injury was really bothering him, but at the same time, he wanted to be out there. You look at Jared Goff and him playing out there with that thumb. He put the glove on, which is hilarious because I said the week before when he came in with it, I was like, he needs to put a glove on. He just needs to do it. He can't hold that ball well. You put that glove there, it's going to allow you, a little bit more control. He did it. I think he played well. Really, the Rams, in my mind, they played well for the situation given to them. That offense is for the Packers was just explosive. Lazard had all sorts of passes that he dropped yesterday that easily could have been multiple touchdowns for the kid. Yeah. Rodgers finds him all the time, and he's just dropping it, and then finally gets one. He'll get there. He's just kind of shocked in the moment because this is his kind of first big deal for a playoff. But I'm pretty sure he was there last year, but still, he didn't. A lot of people didn't show up well last year. Now you could see he feels that pressure.
Did they not show up well last year, or did they get out schemed last year? And that's going to lead into my point.
Yep.
This game was – I've watched this game already this year. This game already happened twice. This game happened against Rams-Niners twice. There's a connection between LaFleur and Shanahan. They both were on the coaching staff of the Washington football team when RG3 had his great season, when they schemed everybody out of position, and he played amazing his rookie year. These guys come over here, they split apart. Now we see what, we have head coach in Green Bay, we have a head coach in San Francisco. The scheming is what Shanahan does to the Rams year in and year out. We were a 6-win team and beat the Rams, who were a superior team on talent on the field by far, but they couldn't beat us. Why? Because of scheming. It was a total Shanahan scheme that I see every week when I watch the Packers. Maybe I'm a homer. It's okay. I watch it. Oh, I see how they move those guys around. I could find you 100 plays probably where Deebo Samuel ran the same exact pattern that Devontae Adams ran last night and beat Jalen Ramsey. You can watch. It's all over the field. It doesn't matter if you're a Packer or 49er fan. The offensive systems are very, very, very similar. You're just watching it play with Aaron Rodgers and not Nick Mullins.
Right.
That is the biggest difference. Nick Mullins beat this Rams team with the same scheme. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't beat him, he's a chump. And that's what I would have to say about it. And that's what I was going to say prior to the game. If the Packers lose this game, they're a disgrace to the offensive system that has proven success against this defense. Yes, this defense is strong, not against this scheme. The thing that's going to shoot the Packers in the foot is going to be stupid penalties and stupid crap that stopped the 49ers from winning the Super Bowl last year. They have the best offensive scheme in the playoffs. They don't just depend on a 9 route to run down the field and bail them out.
Tyreek Hill.
They also have a defense who has played at a pretty high level. Let's be honest. Jair Alexander has really, really risen to the occasion and continued progression. I think this defense is a heck of a lot better than what they had last year. More cohesiveness in that offensive system shows the total difference in why they will. And I made the prediction, Bills, Packers, Super Bowl when we started our playoff edition, and I still feel that way.
Yeah, and this is a question a lot of people have of whether or not Zaire Alexander should have made first team All Pro. And just to be honest, in the AFC or just in general, I just think there's has been a vast majority of cornerbacks who deserve first All Pro. They just rightfully deserves it, but you can't add everybody.
No.
Mhm.
And as great as the first team sounds, it's not bad to be the second team. You made All Pro, you know that's a statement in itself.
Yep.
And Zion Alexander, he stepped up big time, and like you said, he's just one of the best premier cornerbacks in this game right now. You're starting to see a lot of these young guys step up with X-Men and Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander and even J.C. Jackson with the Patriots. These guys are starting to step up and step out, while these veterans that we've actually grown up to see in our lifetime, Richard Sherman and the McCourty brothers and stuff, and Gilmore, those guys who are coming. I'm not going to say they're coming to their end, but as age, father time does play. Father time does play a big factor in this game. And in the NFL, you can definitely get pushed out very quickly.
100%. 100%. Yeah, it's Alexander. The one thing that people want to say is, oh, he doesn't leave his side of the field. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, there's certain people that do that. At times, Howard does that. I'm sure there's times that J.C. Jackson does that. It doesn't matter as long as you're shutting people down. And the only time he really had an issue was, I think the second matchup with Thielen. There was a couple times that he kind of got the better of him, and he actually is the only person, I think, to score a touchdown against the kid this year. But that's Adam Thielen. So that's that. So then
I have to say something on what you said also. I can't stand when people talk bad about a player who follows what their defensive coordinator tells them to do. The biggest hit on Richard Sherman his entire career, not just as a 49er, as a Seahawk too. Oh, well, he never leaves his side of the field. Well, who threw to his side of the field? You did, and you got picked off. And still to this point, even with these younger guys who are going crazy with interceptions, Richard Sherman still has the most interceptions. Player.
It's just like Chris Collinsworth said last night. If anybody caught it, is if you a quarterback who just came in the league, and this was talking about Tyler Huntley after Lamar Jackson was injured and due to concussion protocol. He said specifically, he said, when you come into the NFL and you want to make plays, try to not throw over there where Tre'Davious White is at. Throw to the other side. Because Tre'Davious White was just all over Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, he just couldn't get away. He just couldn't get away, and that's pretty much, like I said, it's the young versus the older, and it was just I mean, you got to give it up. You got to give it up for you got to give it up for Tyler Huntley. I like the kid. The kid was explosive. I've seen a lot from this kid that actually makes me happy to see how he can grow. The question is, Greg Roman, John Harbaugh, got to do better. Got to do better getting these two guys up to speed.
Greg Roman will never do better. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and me and Condor was talking about this before the show. Yes, Greg Roman has a lot to do with how this offense has progressed. But as a head coach, you have to have your authority and make adjustments prior to. You're a head coach. You can't give the full reins of your offense to, to the offensive coordinator. I get that that's what their job is, and your sole job is to make the end decision. But when you have, your offensive coordinator who just obviously hasn't been progressing, even Ron Rivera with Scott Turner, Ron Rivera has took over at times where he's seen that the offense just wasn't progressing at all during the game. And Ron Rivera has called a few plays on his own, and sometimes you just have to make that adjustment. John Harbaugh just didn't do a good job of making that adjustment this whole season, and you've seen it. I just think that, John Harbaugh is just in the same state of job security as Mike Tomlin is right now. I think they're both on the hot seat. And the Ravens game last night, I didn't like it because this shows that they just have to mold Lamar Jackson in a different way. You can't keep using this RPO scheme because eventually it won't work. It worked in the beginning in the first quarter, but then the Bills caught on. They established a big box, and every time you try to do the RPO, you seen Lamar Jackson, just going back and forth, trying to find out where he can run, and then he actually stood there and threw the ball to the open man. It's just I like Lamar Jackson, and it just sucks to see that people was bashing him so much last night, saying that he's not an elite quarterback.
Wow.
I think
1 year removed from an NFL MVP, and he's not elite.
Yeah, and
that is my biggest problem with fans of the NFL.
Yeah,
they all sit at home and they watch their TVs and they make calls on who's elite. Let's just flip the script here. Let's put Lamar Jackson in a different offense. Maybe that requires him to pass a little more, but can still utilize his athletic ability.
I do you better. Put him in Pete Carroll's offense.
There you go.
He'd be successful.
Exactly. Put him in San Fran's offense.
He'd probably be successful.
He'd be successful because San Francisco 98% of the time they understand when to run the ball.
Right.
Anywho, yes, I totally agree. It's good stuff. I didn't really see this going anyway besides the Packers, just the way they've been playing. And you get Aaron Rodgers now getting to host the NFC Championship in Lambeau for the first time in his career.
Yep.
Kind of something cool. But let's talk about the team that is going back to the AFC Championship game for the first time since '93. The Buffalo Bills.
Bills Mafia.
We kind of touched on some of this stuff earlier. Lamar struggled. It was funny. They kind of flipped the script. So last time the Ravens and Bills played, Josh Allen struggled when the pressure came at him and he was making bad plays. Well, then that's what the Bills did to Lamar yesterday. Josh Allen looked fine, had pressure coming, knew where to go with the ball, trusting his guys, making throws, even though, the wind was just nuts. He was still making throws at times that just were just awesome throws. I love watching the kid play. He's smart with the football. And, yeah, he has those times where you're like, man, why did you make that throw? But he completes them.
What's crazy is that he's that quarterback.
Oh, man.
He's that quarterback that you just love to have on your team. He's big. He's tall. He's fast. For his size, he moves like lightning.
Right.
And people look at Josh Allen and they say, "Oh, well, he isn't a scrambling quarterback." No, he is. He is. He's a mobile quarterback. And if you give him the option to run, he will run it on you for 40 yards if you give him that. We've seen it before.
It's true. So, real quick here, we do have a nice good old question coming through, from Jason. He was here last week, but, he just decided that he wanted to stop by and ask, is Lamar Jackson a franchise quarterback?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. If your doubt in him being a franchise quarterback is there, then I don't know why. I think he is a franchise quarterback. I just think that he needs some coaches who actually wants to see him be better and not be predictable.
I think that was my idea, ringing now. Yes, Lamar Jackson is a franchise quarterback, Jason. And do I think he's Baltimore's franchise quarterback? If Greg Roman continues to be there, no. Because
That was
Greg
great.
Roman will never change.
That was
Ever.
great.
Right?
That
You
was
like that
great.
segue? Okay, it's good. It was good. So I think this is, again, and I'm going to have this argument with anybody. It is all dependent on what offensive coordinator and what head coaching situation you go into.
Yep.
Period. There is no argument against it. If Patrick Mahomes is on a different team, people aren't talking about him being a franchise quarterback. I watched the kid in college. I've said it time and time again. He was mediocre at best, landed there with a good arm and an offense that has a mediocre run game and relies on great route running ability. Right? No, you stretch the field. That's all they do. There's nothing special to it. You have a good arm. He throws it deep. Lamar Jackson has a good arm, but he's in a wrong offense. They want to make him run and do this RPO, like not even RPO sometimes, read option. That is it's done. It's done. Its hype was gone when RG3 and Kaepernick and all those guys did it to start with. It caught people off guard. The NFL has caught it and left it in its dust. It's easy to figure out. And you cannot make a talented quarterback like Lamar Jackson box himself in talent-wise to fit your scheme.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what you said, the statement before that one is simple. The RPO. Listen, what makes me upset about this whole season with Lamar Jackson is that people say, "Oh, well, Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks." Why? Well, because he can run 40 yards with no problem.
Yeah. I don't think that's a defining factor if he's a good quarterback.
It's not.
I
You
think
want to
he's
know?
a good
You want
athlete.
you want to know who's a good quarterback? Josh Allen, the now renounced Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
good one. I love you, CJ. Love you. Great example.
Ring the bell.
Hang on, I'd have to go outside. It's kind of cold out there. So I'm telling you, it's a great example. Baker Mayfield last year. Does anyone ask if he's a good quarterback anymore? No, we were all figuring out ways to chastise him and say, "Oh, he's done. He's trash. He's garbage." But now, let's fast forward to this year where he has a good coach and offensive system. And now look at the success of Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Completely, totally different quarterback. Josh Allen, again, the same situation. Consistent in the system that they're in.
Chastised his first year.
Yep. And then now, everyone thinks he's the savior, of Buffalo, Nation and the savior of Browns Nation. It is all put on what coaches are putting these guys' talent to use. If you expect Lamar Jackson to carry your franchise to the Super Bowl on his legs, it is not going to happen. It is illogical to think that way.
So here's the stat that they pulled out last night in the Bills game is that his rookie season, Josh Allen's rookie season, Josh Allen was just above 50%. I think he was like 51.6 and completion rating. 0 games with 300 yards plus, and 0 games with 4 touchdowns or more. This season, 62.9% completion rating, completion percentage. 8 games, 400 plus yards, and 4 games with 4 touchdowns or more. Need I say much?
No, it just further backs the point. It's all about the coaches utilizing the talent, and it's exactly how I analyze whether a team has a good coach or a bad GM. If you have a good GM, you have talent on the field, and Baltimore has talent on the field. There is no arguing that fact. It's the coaches are not utilizing the talent. Talent's carrying you to playoff just because of their athletic ability and what they can do. You're not scheming them to win. That's why I think Greg Roman should have been gone a long time ago. But
Yeah, look at the Bills and the Browns, and look at their situation from last year into this year. The Browns, again, like you said, Baker Mayfield got chastised. Nobody thought that Kevin Stefanski would be this coach that we all see now. But this year, Kevin Stefanski said, "Okay, we don't have Odell. Baker, you can't play aggressive anymore. You can't play your football. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay,
T-ball.
we're going to use Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. We're going to use Peoples Jones. We're going to use Rashard Higgins. We're going to use Jarvis Landry. We're going to use Njoku, even if he wants to leave. We're going to use Austin Hooper. Hell, we're even going to use Harrison Bryant. We're going to use the whole team, and we're going to win these games." And that's exactly what the Browns did. The Bills, last year, streaky season. This year, we're going to utilize Devin Singletary in the right way. You know, we're going to utilize these running backs that we bring in. They brought in Stephen Diggs. Stephen Diggs being the premier wide receiver with McKenzie, Cole Beasley, and John Brown coming back after being injured. You know, the team has just been there with Tyler Croft and Dawson Knox there. They just been utilizing their offense as team ball. And this is what it's all about. So the Ravens, they have to get on board with the scheme. I mean, you got the running backs there. You got Gus Edwards and you got J.K. Dobbins. The wide receivers, I get it. Though, you know, those guys, you know, you have Hollywood.
Bring in one more. If you turn Des Bryant, you know, like 10 years younger, that would have been awesome. But Des Bryant is not a young man anymore. He's an older man. He is definitely past his prime. They just need a big-time receiver. You get him a big-time receiver on the outside. Hollywood Brown then gets the moment to be that speedster to run that 9 route, which a lot of these guys love to run nowadays.
Get a DK Metcalf.
Right, exactly. A big possession guy that the defense has to fear.
And exactly. And just let Hollywood be Tyler Lockett.
Right. I think, and here, I have a question posed for you two. Is there a tidbit of irony in this Browns-Chiefs game? Just a little bit? Do you guys see that irony? The running back for the team that's stepping into town. I think he may have a little chip on his shoulder. I mean, considering that, you know, he was cut immediately, and then they continued to obtain Tyreek Hill's services, you know, when he abuses children. So I mean,
which is hilarious. Let me go jump in there. I just found out today that a lot of people didn't even know that those audio recordings existed.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just told me, and I've never heard anything about it. I never heard anything about Tyreek Hill abusing his kid, and there actually being audio recordings. And you know, a lot of people might say, "Oh, well, listen, you don't know exactly what happened in the household," which is true. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't know exactly what happened. But the point is, there's evidence on that recording that says that there is some form of abuse there, whether it's the mom or whether it's the dad. But regardless, there are two parents in the house that allowed this abuse to happen.
Yep.
Something has to happen. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, he gets suspended indefinitely or whatever the NFL, you know, can do in this matter, but something has to happen, a fine or something, whatever it is. It's just, you know, it's just crazy how, you know, and I'm just going to go out and say it because I've been a firm guy on this, and, you know, not just with, you know, these situations with Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt and Adrian Peterson. I just don't think as a whole that the NFL handles certain situations in the best way and the right way, you know, rather than everything being an ulterior motive.
I agree with that 100%. I think that there should be a zero tolerance, if there is even speculation. I think these players have to be held to a higher standard anyway. You know, there shouldn't even be speculation. These guys should be mature enough and have the ability to, you know, restrain from ignorant ideas. When I heard that, I was one of my best friends was a Chiefs fan. He was the one who told me about it. It's just not acceptable to me. I will never accept that. It's just not acceptable. That's why I have zero respect for Tyreek Hill. I will never have respect for Tyreek Hill because of that. But I think, back to my point, I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a little chip on his shoulder to prove a point to his former team that he still has it. I think this Browns team has it. They came out and took care of business
with nobody last week.
Right.
They took care of business with nobody last week. Not even with their head coach. They did it without their head coach.
They took care of business.
And this is the statement that I was making earlier. And the Browns last week, they didn't have Stefanski. Yep. They didn't have Ward. Yep. They didn't have a lot of their players. This game is different. They have Stefanski. Their players are back.
Nice. I didn't know.
They're cleared to play. So it's just one of those things where will it be good or will it be bad? Will it be good or will it be bad? And the question that you ask yourself is, how good is this Kevin Stefanski team that we actually don't know really that much about? Sorry, my dog is acting crazy.
He doesn't like your idea there, I think.
But the crazy thing is they won't have Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's all he's in our day. So Le'Veon Bell is going to have to step up.
Yeah,
we wanted to go to Cupcake Kingdom, so it's time to get that train rolling.
Mm-hmm. But the crazy part about it is David Njoku is expected to play. Jack Conklin is expected to play.
Good.
Like I said, these players are coming back to play at the best time right now.
Yeah,
they're coming to play where it most matters. Kadero Hodge has been activated. Denzel Ward has been activated. Kevin Stefanski is back. I mean, it's the perfect situation
storm
right now for the Browns. And you right, Albatross. Kareem Hunt has a chip on his shoulder. So make no mistake that Kevin Stefanski will be given 50-50 of the snaps to Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Hell, Kareem Hunt might just get most of the touches today.
Oh yeah. Why not? This guy's going to be running with emotion.
My prediction: 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Ooh. Oh.
He's going to make a statement. And I want it to happen. Chip on his shoulder is a chip on my shoulder. He's going to pick it up and eat it.
I love it. This is just a couple things I got to say just from doing, the research and just kind of listening throughout the week. As soon as the Browns Steelers game was over last week, they go into Monday practice, the Chiefs and all that. And I guess according to Travis Kelce, Mahomes had just a notebook with like a couple pages of notes that he had already taken on the Browns. The dude's just locked in. So I don't think we're going to see really anything out of the ordinary from that offense. I think what we're going to have to look for when it comes to Kansas City is what's this defense going to do against Chubb and Hunt. Obviously, we've discussed that. When you look at what exactly is going on offensively, obviously you got Njoku coming back. That's nice. But I think it comes down to the running attack with a mixture of Landry and the wide receiving core doing their thing. Honestly, I'm looking for Landry to have 5 to 7 catches for like 100 yards receiving. And I think Landry is just juiced right now, which is funny because that's what his nickname is anyway. So, that's cool. But yeah, he's locked in, and it's great to see it. I like watching the guy play. It's funny because a lot of people said he's not a good route runner and this and that, and I think that's what makes Landry one of the better receivers in the league is his ability to run the routes.
He's got great hands.
Oh, yeah. And I think the Browns can go toe-to-toe with Kansas City. I think they're one of the few teams who can get into a shootout and come out on top. There's not a whole lot of offense that can do it, but I think the Browns can.
And doesn't that feed into their quarterback's kind of personality? Like, you put
Right.
Baker in a shootout, like that's what Baker wants. Baker wants the shootout. Like,
And let me just throw this last thing out here too. The last time that we saw a major duel between Mahomes and Baker Mayfield was when they were in college.
yep.
They both threw for, about 500 yards, and it was a shootout. And Patrick Mahomes got the better of Baker Mayfield that day.
Yep.
So maybe we get into a shootout, and today's the day that Baker Mayfield gets the better of Patrick Mahomes in the big game.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Baker would take that one.
History says today might be a very good day for the Browns. But I guess we'll find out.
How crazy is it? How crazy would it be? You see these two teams that hasn't seen a playoff, hasn't seen a divisional round or an AFC championship, never in so long. The Bills being so long, and the Browns never seeing an AFC championship. How crazy would it be for them two to be playing in the AFC championship, AFC conference championship?
That would just put the icing on the 2020 cake,
Definitely.
It would actually be good business for the NFL. You get to sell some teams.
Great business.
Have not been there in a while. Like it's exciting. It really is. Like, it's always exciting when you have teams. And it's funny. I was talking to my wife, and I made the comment. She said, "Who do you want to win?" I was like, "You know what? I really don't care anymore." I was like, because none of them are close to 5 Super Bowls. So win away, win away. And she's like, is that all you're ever going to worry about? And I said, yeah. I was like, you know why? I was like, because it comes down to value. It comes down to being able to be like, look, we were the first dynasty. We've done this. Welcome to the party, kids.
And it's just crazy. And when I look back at it, it's like, man, what are the odds where we see the Browns and the Bills competing in a divisional round and possibly just might be in the AFC conference championship? I like it.
I love it.
There's so much history in this AFC conference championship. If the Browns and the Bills go toe to toe,
Yep.
It's just so much history with it. It's so much new history with it, with these two young quarterbacks, and these it's just great. It's just great. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. A lot of people like Patrick Mahomes going back to the Super Bowl, but I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Have a good day.
Yeah, whatever.
Amen.
I like the Bills and the Browns AFC Conference Championship, so that's what I'm going for.
There you go.
I would be totally down with it. I think we also have to, us being the people that we are, we have to look at the possibility of a Super Bowl I rematch of Kansas City and Green Bay, considering we're potentially, really close to potentially that happening. Let's hope not. I mean, it would be fun to watch the two quarterbacks, but at the same time, the Chiefs can just. Anyway, who I'd rather like to see, honestly, win another Super Bowl, and it's super gross, and I'm going to say this. I might throw up in my mouth afterwards.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. I just don't get it. I hated the guy. I still hate the guy.
And again,
but I'm watching and enjoying his greatness in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
There's still a little bit of grudge there for me. There's still a little bit of grudge there.
I bet there is.
There's still a little bit of grudge there for me. But listen.
Hey, he shipped your boy a signed jersey. Okay, Chase Young said, "Hook me up," and the goat said, "Here you go."
Sure. That's because Chase Young was like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna need this off of you." All right. He said, "But look," and that was just so great. And if you guys heard the audio before, it was just crazy. The audio was after the game. He walked up to Tom Brady. He was like, "Hey, man, I respect you. You're the GOAT. Good job." And Tom Brady said, "Hey, man, you're on your way, man. I like you. I like your attitude. I like your energy." He was like, "Man, anything you need, just let me know." He was like, Chase Young said, "Well, I do need one thing." He was like, "What? I'm gonna need this jersey off you." and Tom Brady, his facial expression was like, "What?" He's like, he said, "You made my jersey." He's like, "Yeah, man, no problem. I'll ship it to you." And it was just so great. And but when we're talking about this matchup, Bucks and Saints, Bucks being swept swept by the Saints.
It's not going to happen.
This is again a money market right there. This is the true definition of the NFL having a money market.
Yep.
Bucks and Saints, Breeze, Brady, Kamara, Fournette, Evans, Thomas, if he is there. It's do I need to even get? Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little overwhelming there.
Well, I'm pretty sure I just saw a statistic. It was 7,778 days ago when Tom Brady and Drew Brees went head to head at Michigan and Purdue. To the day.
Oh my gosh! I like it. It's a good stat. It's a good stat. The hidden stat of the day.
Right. This is, to me, I have an affinity for Tom Brady. He grew up as a 49er fan, so I feel like we share that mojo. But, I'm just excited to see him in a different jersey, proving all the haters wrong, because everybody said, he was only good because he was in New England. Yep. Here he is, 43 years old, and he's looking great. I think the Buccaneers are going to take care of business. The Saints are a tough team, though. I mean, this is a team who beats you twice in the regular season. But I think that's enough. That's the locker room material the Bucs needed to come in here and take care of business.
Here's what I like about this matchup, and it's because the Saints don't really have a big injury block there. Right. They don't have an injury block there. The only people that most likely not play today is Taysom Hill and Latavius Murray. Okay, but everybody else is pretty much just good to go. And that is what makes me
excited about the matchup.
Excited, yeah. It makes me excited about the matchup. Leonard Fournette is expected to start with Ronald Jones being on game time call. And and that's because of his quad. The quad is still bothering him. It has been bothering him throughout the week. And right now he's just on game time decision right now. So that plays a big hand. But Leonard Fournette has actually been playing his best football in the last few weeks, even even against the Washington football team. He's played he's played very well. The question is though, can this be consistent? Does Bruce Arians shy away from the running game and gets flustered and just try to have a shootout with Tom Brady and Drew Brees? I mean, look, I don't mind a shootout with Drew Brees and Tom Brady. I would rather have that because there's two quarterbacks who's Hall of Fame regardless if you look at it. But as far as winning, Bruce Arians just have to keep with the running game. Let Leonard Fournette tote the rock. I don't care if it's for 30 times. Let him manage this game properly, where you can get your wide receivers involved.
Yes. So they need to run the ball, but I think off of what you were saying there about Fournette, he really needs to get back to when we first saw him enter the league, just running through people, powerful, fast. Like if that Fournette can return for this Bucs team, he'll go the distance. It won't even be a question. You give Tom Brady a run game and one weapon, like Julian Edelman for years, he'll win it. So what's he going to do with Evans and Godwin and Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski? He's winning. He understands. This like December was one of the best years or one of the best months of his career. This team is getting hot. They're getting hot at the right time, and it showed last week. Unfortunately, they took care of Washington. Unfortunate for CJ, but took care of business, got it done, and Tom Brady knew coming to this division that he had to go through Drew Brees. Obviously, they lost the first two times. Sniffles. I know your woman had COVID. So, did you get tested yet? Oh,
actually, no, not yet. And
okay. How's she doing? Is she doing better?
Slightly. There's just just acting like a baby when you're sick. I mean, I get it. COVID is a big thing, but
Right.
it's
I get it.
I don't feel like getting up and
Right. So then here's the thing. Here comes the big question, though. Will Tom Brady put Drew Brees in retirement when they knock him off tonight? Could this be Drew Brees' last game?
I think it is. I think this is Drew's last game. Just because he's just lost a lot, and this is going to lead into my point about what the Saints are going to do today. I mean, the Saints are committed to the run game. They're committed to who they are post Drew Brees already.
Right.
You look at the pass game, and it's lost a lot. It's eerily, oh man, it looks like Peyton Manning throwing the football in his final year, for the Denver Broncos, when they win the Super Bowl off the defensive play. That's pretty much what the Saints are. The Saints require that defense to play at that extremely high level, which they can. They have the team to do it, but I mean, these balls are just coming out, just no power on them. The spiral is not even near as tight as what he used to spin. It's just totally different Drew Brees. And it's an aged Drew Brees. I think some of the injuries have caught him finally. I think you look over on the other side, and Tom Brady has done a great job of minimizing injuries through his career and continuing to keep his body healthy. That's the difference I think we see between the two quarterbacks. The first two games, Tom Brady, I think, threw 2 touchdowns, 5 picks. But after that point, he turned it on. I feel like there's going to be a changing of the guard in the South. Drew Brees, I think, will be exiting into retirement, and Tom Brady will be playing some more football like he always does.
Which is ridiculous. So, with all that being said,
It's time to make those
prediction
picks, huh?
It's time. It's time. Predictions. It's time. So, here's where I'm at. Oh, by the way, Tom Brady's 5-2 all time against Drew Brees. Those 2 losses coming this season. So I think Tom's, getting that little rust off his shoulder, and he's ready to flip the script today. So let's see here. I am going to start off with Rams, Packers. We got done already. We can't make those picks. Browns, Kansas City. I like the Browns. Upset of the day.
Well,
I'm gonna say this better. 35-28. Browns upset.
Well, here's my predictions, and
your idea.
My prediction is this. My prediction is this. I have a chip on my shoulder, and I'm ready to eat it. Kareem Hunt all day. The Browns. In the second game, I'm ready to march in. So, win the Saints.
You're being a little emotional about it right now. Don't you be emotional on me.
I'm being so emotional today, with Kareem Hunt having a chip on his shoulder, and I still have a little bit of grudge against Terrible Tom. I definitely think, with them sweeping the Bucks twice, I think they can do it again.
Yep.
So bring out the broom for the last time, and Drew Brees will definitely outgun Terrible Tom today.
All right. I'm going to lead off of that one into the early game. So Tom Brady has never lost to a single team 3 times, including playoffs, in his entire career. And
there's always a time to learn once.
It's never going to happen. It's
the first time for everything.
TB12. He is the man for a reason, and he will rise to the occasion. The Buccaneers win this game, and I don't think the Buccaneers win barely. I think that they take care of business, and we see that they are the clear-cut better team.
The Bucks win. The Bucks win next week. I will so gladly say that I love Terrible Tom.
I'm proud of you because I'll be waiting for it.
All
so
right.
now I'm going to go to my next pick here. I'm going Browns. I'm going the Browns because I've never been on the Chiefs bandwagon fan. Maybe it's because I am still emotional about it, but that's okay. I'll continue to be emotional about it. I think
Emotional.
I think that they're a team that relies on broken plays way too much. You rely on a 9 route to save you. You don't play the game of football down by down, run the ball the way it should be. I'm tired of this dumping it off to a guy 60 yards down the field. There's not a lot of talent in that. If I want to see someone run fast, I'll watch the Olympics. But go Browns, and I'm excited to see a Browns-Bills AFC Championship game.
Yep, I think we're going to get Browns, Bills in the AFC, and I think we're going to get Bucks, Packers in the NFC. We're going to have the GOAT versus Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau, which it's going to be funny listening to people talk about how Tampa Bay is not a cold weather team. Well, guess what? Tom Brady is, though.
Tom Brady's played in a lot of cold weather. Again, he is the GOAT, and if he doesn't,
You're giving him.
to outplay you,
Is he really?
the air out of your football.
Is he really?
You're giving him the dome today, okay?
Oh
Is
yeah,
it
that's
really?
good. It's in the bag. In the bag. I don't even need to watch it. In the bag.
Is it really?
You're giving him the dome today. No weather elements. Everything's going to be great. He'll be nice and warmed up to go to Lambeau next week. And let it ride with Antonio Brown.
I'm gonna have to try to get a Tom Brady jersey because how much I talk about him now.
Hey, just ask him for an autographed Tom Brady jersey.
I'm not Chase Young, and unfortunately, I don't have those ties.
Hilarious.
Are ye Terrible Tom?
So that's where we're at there.
Yon.
Excuse
Hopefully
me.
that's what we're going with the Chiefs season.
Yeah, pretty much. That is the Chiefs season right there. The yawn
What you
fest.
did there?
But I think that's where we're at for those. I'm liking, obviously, with the matchups today. I think no matter what, we're going to have some good football.
I think so.
I do have a question.
Going to blow anybody out. CJ's got a question on the hotline. Go.
I do have one question that's really been bothering me this watching the playoffs. And the question is, with the off season coming up, and seeing the Bucks and the Saints, their season coming to an end, where do you see these two guys? You see these two guys retiring finally?
Breeze, maybe. Brady is not retiring.
Nope. Brady's coming back to destroy for another year because he is the greatest of all time. Breeze is going to go sail off in the sunset.
We didn't really see any decline from him this year.
No.
Did we really?
I mean,
Really?
he statistically had a really good season.
No,
Really?
yeah, he really showed that. Hey, I might be 50. Okay, I might be
What was he,
pushing
like
50.
42?
He's like, I might be pushing 50. Okay,
But
but
you can do it. Right now, I
But-
can easily see him play until he's
guess what?
45 years
I am in
old.
the best shape of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Florida, and I have Bruce Arians. So
I'm in Florida.
and I have the referees. So
Tax-free.
yeah. I have the Florida, I have Bruce Arians and I have the referees. But so yeah, I definitely think Tom Brady can definitely do it.
Well,
Yeah, I think Drew Brees is probably out the door, unfortunately. I mean, I guess he has a nice job set up at CBS or NBC, like a broadcasting job as soon as
he do.
he's done. So, well, yeah, I've already heard about it. He's doing games he'll be doing some Notre Dame games and something else, I guess, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks that the dude kind of got robbed the last couple years, with the no calls and the push offs and
2 years in a row.
pretty much getting robbed, 2 years straight with good teams, chance to win another ring. And you damn well know if he probably would have, he would have retired right then and there, having 2 rings, getting out of there.
oh,
I think that's
I
why
hate to be that guy, but what are the odds of him possibly being screwed tonight?
I mean, anything's
What are the
possible.
odds?
It's the NFL.
What are the odds? Going against Terrible Tom
That's why
What are
we
the
play the
odds?
game.
How many times has Tom Brady?
It's terrible Tom today. Oh.
Oh,
What's
man.
his losing record for?
All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We thank you all for joining us. We will be back probably at our normal time, potentially next week. I'll find out. I'll make a post about it. Maybe we'll go another early time since there will be it's Championship Sunday, so we can do Saturday night because both NFC and AFC Championship games will be on Sunday. So we will be back at the normal time next week. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Go Browns. Go Bucks.
Take care, guys.